Here's more wrestling news for October 9th, 2025, and your headlines for this afternoon include 4 mistakes WWE cannot afford to make at Crown Jewel 2025, Roman Reigns finally speaks on Jey Uso's attitude change and Jimmy Uso rift, one shocking WWE decision changed Monday Night Raw forever, former Nexus star in need of prayers after scary health situation, I got early onset Parkinson's, WWE legend's emotional confession shocks fans. Mandy Rose speaks out, fans still want me back, WWE comeback teased, and more. With a stacked card featuring multiple champion versus champion showdowns and the long-awaited final clash between John Cena and AJ Styles, WWE Crown Jewel 2025 is shaping up to be one of the company's biggest international premium live events yet as it heads to Perth, Australia this weekend. However, with expectations running sky high, WWE cannot afford creative missteps. One wrong booking decision could easily spark backlash, especially at a time when fan sentiment towards Triple H's creative direction remains volatile. Crown Jewel 2025 needs to deliver without controversy, ensuring that each outcome enhances the show rather than derails it. Here are 4 major mistakes WWE must avoid at Crown Jewel 2025 to make sure the event lives up to the hype. Number 4. Derailing Stephanie Vacquer's red-hot momentum. Stephanie Vacquer will face Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship in one of the event's most anticipated matchups. However, this is not the time for La Primera to take a loss. Vacquer recently captured the Women's World Championship and is riding a wave of momentum that has elevated her profile across WWE audiences. A loss here would not only damage her credibility but also stall her upward trajectory just as she's becoming a top-tier star. Meanwhile, Tiffany Stratton is already well established on the main roster. A defeat wouldn't hurt her long-term positioning, but a win over Vacquer could derail the latter's rise. WWE must protect Vacquer's momentum at all costs. This is her moment to solidify herself as a dominant champion, not to be used as a stepping stone. Number 3. Rushing John Cena versus AJ Styles. The legendary rivalry between John Cena and AJ Styles is set for one final chapter at Crown Jewel, a match that fans have waited years to see. Their 2016 to 2017 feud remains one of WWE's most celebrated storylines, known for its emotional storytelling and elite in-ring work. Cutting their last encounter short, say under 10 minutes, would be a massive mistake. It would strip the match of its emotional weight and rob fans of a satisfying payoff to one of wrestling's most iconic rivalries. This bout deserves time, and Triple H must ensure Cena and Styles are given enough room to deliver a fitting farewell performance that honors their legacy and leaves fans with the closure they've been waiting for. Number 2. Repeating the same Roman Reigns injury angle. Roman Reigns will face Bronson Reed in an Australian street fight, but the fear among fans is that WWE might once again fall back on its overused formula. Reigns gets attacked, written off TV, and then reappears weeks later to restart the cycle. That same repetitive pattern has defined Reigns' recent storylines and has begun to wear thin. Another Reigns gets destroyed and sidelined angle at Crown Jewel would only add to the creative stagnation fans have been criticizing. The creative team should instead focus on progressing the Bloodline story or planting seeds for Survivor Series War Games in a fresh and meaningful way. Number 1. Making Seth Rollins lose to Cody Rhodes. Perhaps the most crucial decision of the night involves Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship. A Rollins loss here would be a costly mistake that could unravel months of storytelling and damage the foundation of multiple ongoing feuds. Rollins currently holds an unwanted 0-3 record against the American Nightmare, and another loss would crush his credibility. It would also undermine his leadership role in the Vision faction, potentially creating internal distrust among his allies. Beyond that, it could jeopardize his standing as World Heavyweight Champion, casting doubt on his long-term direction heading into WrestleMania season. Cody doesn't need another win to remain relevant, but Rollins absolutely needs this one to re-establish dominance and keep his momentum intact. Which of these do you think is the biggest mistake WWE needs to avoid at Crown Jewel 2025? Share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. Now, Roman Reigns' recent return to television has brought plenty of tension with it between himself and the Usos, as Jey has been teasing a potential heel turn as he's shown glimpses of becoming the tribal chief himself. That is something Reigns spoke about on the Pat McAfee show as he discussed the idea of passing on the mantle to Jey and wanting him to become like him. I don't know about handing down the mantle. I don't know if anybody can actually handle that responsibility, that obligation. Jey, look, I saw this from the very beginning. Just like Sami, I've seen this beautiful opportunity within Jey a long time ago, and we're just now seeing that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow with him. There's so much more left to do with him. There's so many accolades and more opportunities for him to capitalize on, and that's what I'm saying. He got there, that's one of the hard parts, but the hardest part is staying there. The hardest part is staying relevant and staying at the tip top of the mountain, to breathe that altitude and to do it like I did for, what'd you say, 1,316 days? Well, Jey seems to be responding to what Reigns has been telling him. Jimmy has been questioning his brother's attitude, and that is something that Roman would like to change. I wish he would listen to me a lot better. I wish his brother would shut up and listen to me as well. It would make life a lot easier, because at the end of the day, I got the proof of concept. I'm the one who's mapped this thing out. I'm the one that understands how to get to the new land. I'm the one that knows how to cross the ocean and come back. I'm the only one that knows how to navigate these waters, and I wish they would listen to me. Whether Reigns manages to convince Jimmy to change his attitude will remain to be seen, but it's clear that there is another major chapter in the Bloodline story still to be told, which is gripping audiences once again. Unfortunately, former WWE superstar Michael Tarver has been battling serious health issues lately, as he provided an update after suffering a stroke. Tarver was a former member of the original Nexus led by Wade Barrett. However, it wasn't long before he was kicked out of the faction following a brutal attack from John Cena on the October 4th, 2010 edition of Raw. Sadly, he was dealing with a groin problem at the time, which led to him needing to be written off television. That was the start of the end of his WWE run, as he was released a year later. Tarver continued wrestling on the independent scene, but he then disappeared completely, with his last match taking place in 2019 at the Legends of Wrestling Anti-Bullying WrestleFest. Since then, he's moved on to music, becoming a Christian rapper known as Monster Tarver. Now on Instagram, Tarver has shared a major health update with his fans. Last night I was told I was having a stroke. I don't ever emote. I don't ever sell, as we say in the wrestling biz where I spent 20 years of my life. I told nobody until I was forced to last night. I had a 202/114 blood pressure reading, and the few people I told right before taking myself to the ER, I'm thankful for your persistence and also that I actually listened. I was in my bed for a few hours as they were testing and working to get my BD down, and I actually started to have thoughts about my mortality. In a lengthy post, he discussed what was going through his mind in that moment, admitting that he feels blessed to have survived. What a way to die. I work 2 jobs, I train twice a day, I've never drank or smoked in my life, and to fall asleep and not wake up because of my blood pressure? I thought about my babies who are all adults now, and all of my years of fight depression and suicide attempts over the past 20 years. I thought about my family, and I just felt this overwhelming responsibility to get up out of that bed and live. I haven't shared this much detail with anyone as I'm still processing all of the weird emotions I'm being overcome with, but the sun came up and so did I. Thank you, Jesus. Nexus was almost set to return to WWE at WrestleMania 36, but plans changed due to the pandemic. Meanwhile, Barrett turned down a pitch from the company wanting them to make a one-off appearance on their 10th anniversary. However, now that Barrett is back in the fold as a commentator, it'll be interesting to see if he'll be open to the idea of leading the Nexus again. In more devastating health news, wrestling legend Raven has confirmed on an appearance of the Ariel Helwani show that he has been diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's disease. I got early onset Parkinson's, so if you see me tremor, that's why, but other than that, I just don't think it really touches my current life to do any damage to it. The former WWE and ECW star revealed the condition hasn't impacted him too much yet, but he does believe it's a case of paying for everything he's done in life. I'm lucky. It's not affected me too bad. It's just when I get anxious, the tremor gets worse, or when I'm really tired and I have a sleep disorder. Look, you gotta pay the piper. Sometimes, for all the drugs and alcohol and chair shots I took to the head, you gotta pay for the damage at some point. It's an upsetting situation for Raven, and something that will continue to impact him for life, but his current mindset shows that he's taking the challenge head on and is raising awareness at the same time. The WWE card is always subject to change, and that's the case for wrestlers themselves who don't always know plans in advance. That was the case when it came to Bronson Reed joining the Vision, which was a significant move for him at this stage of his career. But he wasn't aware it was happening until just days before, as he explained on the Battleground podcast. I was obviously out with a serious injury, and I knew I was going to come back and hopefully into something good, but I wasn't sure what, and I was just making sure I was prepared for whatever was going to happen. Then I only found out, I think it might have been like 2 days before that was the plans going ahead, and I was ecstatic because I was already sort of working backstage with Heyman before my injury, he said. It's a reminder that in WWE, plans can change at any moment, but for Bronson Reed, that last-minute surprise turned out to be the career-defining opportunity he'd been waiting for. We are ending today with the fact that WWE never closes the door on people permanently, and Mandy Rose has revealed she's not ruled out a potential return either. The former NXT Women's Champion knows fans haven't forgotten about her, as she explained on the Power Alphas podcast. It's always good to still be talked about after years. I still love it. It's been 3 years this year, and you still have such a huge fan base that actually care about you and they desire to see Mandy Rose back in the ring. She admitted that the intention gives her a sense of hope, and while she's not promising to return, Rose isn't ruling it out either. It gave me a little hope of like, maybe one day, if I ever wanted to get back in there, I feel like I absolutely could easily get back in there, you know? While she has been out of the ring for a while, Rose made it clear that she can still go inside the ring. It's not like I'm an old raggedy woman nowadays. I mean, 35 years and still looking like I'm 25. Rose left WWE on her own terms and built a brand for herself that's still going strong, but WWE fans haven't stopped calling her name at times. Now, with the door slightly open again, it's a question of when and not if she makes a return to wrestling. Would you want to see Mandy Rose back in WWE? Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. For all of our subscribers, don't miss the 9 a.m. Eastern video we dropped earlier today.